This message did not happen by accident, chosen one. You were led here by God for a reason. You've gone through times of confusion, battles that made you question your worth, and times when you wondered if you would ever get through pain. But every trial, every delay, and every closed door was leading you to this exact moment. You are entering the very reason that God gave you life.
This is not just another phase.
This is the one your entire life has been preparing you for.
I'll also break this down into 7 powerful phases in a few moments, so you can see exactly where you are and what's about to happen.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe before we get into the details.
As a divine confirmation for the chosen, this message is more than just content.
And a heartfelt thank you to everyone who's been supporting us through Super Thanks. God bless you abundantly. Your steadfastness, presence, and belief in this mission are well recognized.
To all of you who continually watch, listen, and align,
I am truly grateful. If your spirit feels this frequency, type 9 in the comments right now.
That number isn't random. It is a prophetic signal to the universe and the Most High that you are prepared to bring forth your new season. Prepared to enter the reason why you were born.
Ready to step into the divine assignment, the divine doors, and the divine acceleration
that heaven has already prepared for you.
Not everyone will make it to the end of this message.
Only the truly selected.
Those who remain will acquire prophetic insight into the season they are currently entering, as well as greater clarity.
You won't just hear this once and forget it.
This is a living word, a spiritual blueprint for your destiny, unfolding piece by piece. Watch it again whenever your spirit leads you.
Because each time another layer of divine truth will rise to
the surface.
You're about to understand why every battle, every delay, and every closed door was leading you right here to the reason you were born.
Let's begin. Phase 1. Preparation was required. God had to take you through a process that very few people could comprehend before you could ever enter the reason you were born.
There was no randomness to this pain.
This was not random unfairness on the part of life. This was intentional, divinely orchestrated preparation. Additionally, choosing preparation is never easy.
It's not meant to be.
Preparation is the season where heaven strips you down to the essentials. When God takes away every shady identity, unhealthy attachment, bit of pride, fear, or dependency that would sabotage your destiny. This is what it means.
You wonder if you have been forgotten in the quiet parts of your life. However, heaven
is working extra hours for you.
In this stage, you're not in the spotlight.
You're hidden from view.
You are not being celebrated. Those dark seasons are shaping you.
God did not deny you blessings because you were not deserving. He was fortifying you so that when the blessings came, they wouldn't break you. He was
trying to get rid of impatience, so that you wouldn't take advantage of the first opportunity that looked good, but wasn't from God. He was sharpening your sense of smell so that you could tell when someone was lying before they spoke. He was strengthening your faith so you could hold on to promises even when every circumstance screamed the opposite. And it's true that he let some people leave. Some vanished suddenly, while others withered over time. But they all left for
a reason. Their influence, their energy, their opinions could have diluted your vision.
They couldn't see the future God has for you.
And in this next phase, you cannot afford to be surrounded by people who lack spiritual sight. He shut doors that you begged him to open. At the time, you thought he was being unfair. But now, looking back, you realize those doors led to places you were never meant to live in. They were too small for the version of you he was building. They would have trapped you in comfort and kept you from courage.
Heaven kept track of
every private tear you shed. God silently reassured you every time you questioned yourself.
Hold on, I continue to work.
Every unanswered prayer was not a denial.
It was a divine delay that occurred precisely at the right moment, allowing you to meet what was coming at the right time, in the right state, and with the right heart posture to handle it.
Without this foundation, the seasons of discipline, the pruning of pride, the strengthening of your faith muscles, you would not be able to carry the weight of what's coming. This was not punishment. It was protection.
I can't send you out unprepared because the world you're about to enter will test you, and I need you to pass. It said from heaven. The preparation was necessary because what's ahead of you is bigger than you think.
And now, the one who kept you a secret is about to reveal you. When he does, every silent season will make perfect sense. Phase 2. The stripping away.
Before a tree can produce new fruit, it must shed its old leaves.
That shedding isn't optional. It's part of its survival. The tree is aware that clinging to the dead will only kill the living things around it. And chosen one, before you could bear the fruit of your true purpose, God had to take you through that same process. A holy, intentional stripping away.
This wasn't just about losing things. It was about getting rid of something that you didn't even know was holding you back.
God began to separate you from relationships that had no power to walk with you into your next phase.
These weren't just acquaintances on a casual basis.
Some of them were people you loved deeply, people you thought would be with you for life. However, their presence in future would have compromised your destiny.
So God in his mercy had to remove them. He tore the ties to environments that kept you small, places where your talents went unnoticed, and places where your light was too bright for those who prefer the shadows.
He broke the ties to those environments. He confronted the habits, coping mechanisms, and even thought patterns that gave you comfort, but secretly eroded your spiritual strength.
He got rid of every toxic pattern, every commitment that drained
your soul, and every distraction. And at the time, it hurt. It felt like betrayal. It was like being rejected.
It appeared as though everything you were constructing was being torn down.
You cried. You inquired. You begged God to explain. Additionally, there was frequently silence due to the fact that some lessons are best learned through experience rather than through explanation in the moment. Anything that could not withstand the altitude to which he was about to take you was being removed by God. They would have either happened if you had continued to hold onto those weights, slowed you down,
or pulled you back entirely. The truth is you prayed for increase, but increase cannot come without room, and room cannot exist without removal.
This is why God let certain people leave without warning. Some of the doors you knocked on didn't open because of this.
Because of this, some blessings seem to come later.
Priority had to be given to the pruning. When you're in the middle of the cutting season, it's easy to call it loss. But from heaven's perspective, it was protection. It was all prepping. It was God placing his hand over your life and saying, not this, not them, not here, not now. It was not rejection.
It was redirection. He was pointing you away from counterfeits so that you wouldn't be confused when the real thing arrived. Now that you look back, you can see it. The people who left would have been a distraction. The opportunities you missed would have been a trap. A cage would have been your havens of safety. You were not stripped by God to be empty. He stripped you to make you ready.
The clutter is gone. The commotion has subsided.
The baggage has
been dropped.
Phase 3. The moment of acknowledgement.
In the journey of every chosen one, there comes a sacred moment when the shift becomes so obvious that you can no longer deny it.
It does not occur as a result of fireworks or a sudden heavenly trumpet sound. It takes place quietly, frequently in the stillness of a typical day.
You wake up and realize the weight you've been carrying feels lighter. The things that used to drain you no longer have the same power. You notice that your heart is strangely at peace. Your decisions are more deliberate, and your thoughts are calmer.
You start to realize that you are not the same person from the beginning of this journey. The pain that once consumed you has transformed into wisdom.
The gales that you used to be scared, but now you use them as training grounds for your faith. You used to ask God for strength, but now you realize that you've been walking in it without even realizing it. You used to pray for clarity. You now have eyes that instantly distinguish truth from fiction.
Your responses are distinct. The arguments you once felt compelled to join now seem pointless. An unwavering confidence in who you are and who you
are has replaced the need to defend yourself in every situation.
People who used to use guilt or fear to control you no longer have access to your spirit. You no longer chase their approval because you've tasted the approval of God and nothing else compares.
The fact of the matter is that you are not the only one who experiences this recognition. It happens in your spirit first.
Before you can fully explain it, you feel it.
That deep,
Still knowledge that you are no longer stumbling around your unholy ground right now. The edge of the reason you were born in the first place. You feel led as you move. Your timing feels aligned. And your heart is prepared for something you can't yet see, but can already sense. It's as if heaven is whispering, "You're ready."
As it approaches, you can sense that fate is watching you.
Because old temptations suddenly begin to reappear, attempting to lure you back into a version of yourself that no longer exists. You are aware that the adversary feels the same way.
But the pull is weaker now that you've outgrown those chains. You're almost powerless.
This is more than just working on oneself. Transformation occurs here. Resurrection is this. It's the unveiling of the new you.
The one God spent years crafting. In the shadows,
Every heartbreak, every delay, every closed door, every season of silence was shaping you for this exact moment.
and you can now see it.
It's palpable. You can't go back because the old you is gone.
And the new you is finally ready to step forward. Chosen one. This is the moment where your inner reality begins to align with your outer reality. Soon,
The world will be able to see what heaven already knows about you.
and when it does,
You'll realize that the recognition wasn't the end of the journey.
it was the entryway to everything for which God has been preparing you. Phase 4.
The alignment of heaven.
When it is finally time for you to step into the reason you were born, something starts to change in the seen as well as unseen realms.
Heaven begins to move with precision.
God starts arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities in a way that no human hand could orchestrate. It's like watching puzzle pieces that never seem to fit suddenly lock into place perfectly. You might not initially. You can see every piece, but you can feel the pattern developing.
Everything's timing becomes indisputable. People you've never met or even heard of begin to cross your path.
Path at exactly the right moment.
These aren't random encounters.
They exist.
Divine appointments.
Conversations that seem ordinary
At first end up carrying the exact wisdom, encouragement, or connection you needed.
You might open an email, take a phone call, or have a casual meeting that ends up changing the entire course of your journey.
Opportunities that once felt impossible suddenly come looking for you without you having to chase them.
Positions, platforms, and places that were previously sealed off now open up with ease.
Invitations find you.
Your name begins to be spoken.
In rooms you've never came in. And the most powerful aspect is that you are not striving or forcing anything. It's as if the wind of heaven is pushing you forward.
Doors that were once locked for years will suddenly swing wide open. Additionally, they won't just open. They will remain open because God Himself has unlocked them. This is not coincidence.
This is divine alignment.
This is the orchestration of a God who has been watching, waiting, and working behind the scenes for this exact moment in your life.
Resources you didn't know you needed will arrive right when you need them. Money will show up for the vision God placed in your heart.
Wisdom will flow from unexpected mentors.
Reward will appear in places where you should have been overlooked.
The help you couldn't find before will start knocking at your door, and you'll realize that God had been keeping these things back all along.
Deny you, but release them when the time is right.
What took years to build will now accelerate. The slow growth, the patient waiting, the hidden preparation, all of which serves as fuel for this sudden acceleration.
It's as if God takes you from walking to running overnight.
And every step forward feels lighter, because you are no longer moving in your own strength. This arrangement not just blessings from the outside.
Internal readiness is also involved because you are now in position.
Your character has the strength to bear the burden of the blessing.
You have sharp enough discernment to navigate them.
New connections. Your spirit is anchored enough to withstand the influence and attention that's about to come. You're not just stepping into a new season. You're stepping into your divine position, and heaven has been awaiting your arrival. Selected one.
When heaven aligns, resistance is broken. Delays dissolve. Once a struggle, it now comes easily. Flow.
And if you think back, you'll see that every obstacle, every turn back, and there was no error in closing any door.
It was God's way of making sure that when the alignment happened, you would be completely prepared and unmovable to enter.
The purpose for which you were created. Phase 5. The giving up of power.
Everything about you changes when you finally accept your divine role.
Not just your schedule and surroundings, but also how you live in them, the globe. Your walk now carries a new weight. Your spirit has a new
fire, and a soul stillness that no storm can disturb. This is the divine release, authority.
the time when heaven hands you the scepter and says, "Now, control the land I've given you." This level of authority does not exist. You can look for it, buy it, or pretend to have it.
It's earned through hidden battles, obedient silence, and nights when you clung to God even when everything seemed lost you desire to let go of it. It is the reward for remaining loyal when no one else was watching. When you carry the cross,
You get the crown. You did not hurry into this. You were included in this process.
every failure, every delay, and every they weren't setbacks, closed door.
You were being shaped to be tall without submitting to flattery or fear.
As a result, you no longer need to wait for permission to when God tells you to move. You don't shrink yourself to fit rooms that can't take care of your calls.
Because your worth has already been established. You no longer measure your worth by how other people perceive you, being evaluated and confirmed by the creator of you.
The authority you now walk in has its own vibe.
The atmosphere of the room changes when you enter it.
Before you speak at all, there's an invisible yet undeniable shift, a weight, clarity, and stillness. People may not be able to explain it, but they cannot deny it.
Some will be drawn to it as if they've been searching for it all of their lives. Because your presence confronts everything that is outside of them, other people will feel threatened.
In accordance with God,
Your arrival is acknowledged by the unseen realm as well. Just like before Jesus spoke, demons recognized him.
the adversary will anticipate your approach.
From far away, they know what you carry now. The power to bind, to loose, to make a decision, and watch heaven act.
Your authority makes the kingdom of darkness nervous because you are no longer reacting to the enemy's moves. You are acting in a way that makes him react.
Understand this. You are not careless because of divine authority.
It makes you intentional because you are aware of what you mean. You no longer speak casually
Carry weight,
because you no longer enter environments without a reason.
knowing that your presence alters things. You no longer allow yourself to be distracted because
You understand the cost of misplaced focus.
this is not cockiness, it's alignment.
It's knowing that you are an ambassador of heaven carrying the full support from the King of Kings. You don't just represent God in name. You portray him through your actions, wisdom, and power, and in the event that trusts you as an authority. Because you have demonstrated that you will use it to build rather than destroy, to heal rather than harm, to liberate, not control. From this point forward, you are not just moving through life.
You are in charge of the land that God has given you.
You are announcing what must be and declaring what will not be. Storms are ordered by you to still, telling mountains to move.
And watching as heaven confirms your words.
Despite its weight, the mantle you carry is yours. And because God gave it, no one can take it. Your authority will open doors that were welded shut. It will put to rest any attempts to oppose you.
Voices.
It will make use of resources from unexpected places and make it so that even your enemies work for you.
This is the time of year when your authority and identity coexist with one another. They will make prophecy come true. Phase 6. The impact beyond you.
The reason you were born was never solely about your happiness, success, or comfort.
It was always about something far greater. God's blueprint for your life was written with order. It contained names of individuals. Your submission was intended to bind.
Falling from hands you can't touch.
Your affirmation of God would echo through families, communities, and even nations.
Your goal from the beginning was engineered to shift
Atmospheres, rewrite bloodlines, and push the kingdom of God ahead in ways that you might never fully comprehend this side of eternity.
As you walk in your calling, something supernatural happens.
Your steps become seeds. Every place you go, every word you say, and every step you take in faith plants something in the destiny of another person's soil.
A few will observe from a distance, quietly, drawing strength from your perseverance.
Others will feel empowered to go after their own purpose simply because they saw you refuse to quit.
Many will never tell you, but they'll see that God is still with you when they look at your life. Faithful, still present, and still working toward the impossible. You will be the answer to prayers whispered in tears by people you've never met.
A single act of obedience on your part, a message you share, a door you open. You will be the catalyst for another person's miracle if you take a stand.
You will carry light into places so dark that people have forgotten what hope feels like. You will speak words that spark courage in the hearts of those who thought it was over with their story. You will open doors for generations to come.
Walk through without having to fight the battles you had to face. This is why the warfare over your life was so unrelenting.
The enemy was never just after you.
He was focused on the numerous lives
your mission would touch.
He was aware that your breakthrough would set off a chain of events, a state of deliverance, that your freedom would dismantle strongholds in others, and that your testimony would rob him of influence.
That's why the attacks felt personal, because they were. Your life is a weapon in the hands of God, and the enemy wanted to silence it before it could fire its first shot.
Understand this. Your impact will outlive you long after you are gone. Your decisions today will continue to speak. The seeds you plant right now will spread into forests of faith, new ideas, healing, and freedom. For individuals you'll never meet, the children of your grandchildren will benefit
from the choices you are making today out of obedience.
Your triumph is not a private prize.
It's a public inheritance. This is why you cannot afford to downplay your calling or shrink when confronted with opposition. When you stand up, someone else finds the will to rise. Every time you speak truth, someone else finds the strength to break free from lies. Every time you by spirit taking territory, you make it easier for those following you to walk where
you've been without fighting the same battles you've been fighting. The impact beyond you is the real prize. This is the ripple effect of your life touching others until it becomes a wave that sweeps through generations. And when you
one day stand before God, you'll see the faces of people you never thought you could reach and realize that the struggle was never fruitless. Phase 7, the unstoppable you. When you get there, the reason you were born, something inside you changes forever. There is no going back.
The version of you that once questioned your worth, second-guessed your calling, and feared the unknown no more exists.
You have been through the fire and come out refined. You have been through the storm and learned to walk on water. You have faced enemies and realized that the God who was fighting for you was always stronger than them. From this point forward, your life is not just movement, it's momentum. Yes, trials may still come.
Opposition may still rise.
There will still be voices that question you and moments where the road ahead is unclear. But now you carry the unshakable realization that nothing and no one can halt God's work put into motion. You now understand that attacks are not delays, but rather denials, frequently confirmation, and that anything that tries to stop you will
only raise you. You've reached a place where fear can knock at your door, but faith will always answer it first.
You won't walk with timidity that makes demands, respectable attention, but the kind that comes naturally. You will speak with wisdom comes from your ability to listen, not from knowing everything.
The one who does, you will move with power, not from striving, but from the quiet authority of someone who knows they have heaven's backing.
The shift will be felt by others without your intervention.
Explain that environments will react to your presence before you open your mouth. When you look back, you will see that every single challenge, heartbreak, and delay was worth it because it brought you here. The old you couldn't have handled this season. The old you would have been crushed under the weight of this calling. But the new you was forged for this.
Every scar has become a signature of survival. Each lesson is now a tool. Every tear has become oil for the anointing you now carry.
You're not just starting a new phase, chosen one. You're assuming the ultimate task in your life. This is the time of year when preparation and purpose finally meet.
This is the moment heaven has been aligning for years.
The task at hand not only is very valuable, but it cannot be replaced. Nobody else can travel this exact route, carry out exactly this role or mission in the way that you can. So protect it. Protect it from counterfeits, distractions, and anything else that could attempt to diminish your fire or focus.
Honor it by showing up every day with the same obedience you showed when no one was watching. Take it on with everything you have, knowing that your steps are in a particular order and that your result is secure. You weren't just chosen because you weren't just called.
You were born for this, and now nothing can stop you. Everything you've been through was heaven's training ground. Every detour was a divine redirection. Every battle was a rehearsal for the victory you are about to walk into. Not at all
Who you were, and you will never be that person again. From this day forward, your life will be a living testimony of what happens when God's timing meets the chosen vessel of God. Step boldly, live fully.
Keep in mind that this goes beyond your time to shine. It's your time to rule. The moment
when the adversary hoped you wouldn't make it.
This is the moment when your submission transforms into your faith, becomes your crown and weapon.
And this is the phase heaven has been writing secretly, and it is now ready to be made public.